Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Santini of SoHungryHippie.com. In today's live sesh, I'm going to do a really quick demo. I'm going to make this jelly zipper case, or zipper pouch, whatever you want to call it, and you will see how really simple this vinyl is to sew. I'm going to try to describe it, but it's really just got this smooth feel. It's not sticky at all. The jelly vinyl that I'm sourcing is rough about 12 gauge, which makes it great for bags and zipper pouches. Hi Sharon. So welcome. Let me know how you're doing, hi Barbara, where you're coming in from. Hi Julie. I'm going to take you overhead so you can see all these really cool colors. Hi Loretta. Hi Debbie. So right here, I've now got them all on the website. This one is pink, and it is definitely a bright pink. This one is lavender, and it looks better in person. Hi, Catherine. Than it does with my amateur photos on the website. So let me just show you this really quick. It's a very pretty light purple.
I added the link to the tutorial.
Tutorial? What do you mean?
How to sew vinyl.
Oh, okay. This is a mint color. All right. This is the orange, which I think is a great color orange. I've had quite a few requests for orange vinyls. So I get the ones that I super duper love, bright orange. This is the blue that I'll be using in the demonstration today. And this one is the chartreuse color. Sure. So some people might get confused with chartreuse and mint, but they definitely have different looks and tones. And I don't know if it will show really well on this camera, but in real life, the mint is definitely like a mint chip ice cream. And the chartreuse is more of a brighter neonish green yellow. Okay. All of these will look great with so many of the fabrics we have coming in, especially, well, all of them. I buy bright fabric for the most part. So hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So what? Oh, okay. Let's do some questions.
Is it softer than the 10 gauge transparent vinyl?
Well, no. So softer is probably going to be a hard thing to quantify because, you mean more pliable? It's a little bit thicker than the 10 gauge, just by a couple of millimeters. So it might feel thicker to you, but it sews even easier than the 10 gauge vinyl that I've had for years, at least 4 years. And that is one of the reasons why I've been slowly letting go of the 10 gauge transparent vinyls, even though I love them and I think they're great to work with. First of all, we have 50,000 boxes back here, so we can only hold so much. But I wanted you to try this jelly in case you had any issues with the transparent. Rochelle, yellow, I didn't love their yellow. If they come out with a better yellow, I will. So I'm keeping an eye on it. All right? Yes. Can you give me some ideas for what to make with the thermal? Sure, after my demo. You can use the thermal for anything. Zipper pouches, bags. Somebody, who was it in the makers group who used it on a Santorini tote? It was awesome. So I have a short video. Sue and Amy took the thermal outside and it was picking up the sun rays and you just saw it changing color right before your eyes. It was so cool. I'll have to post that video. Yeah. Anywho, let's get going on this. Let's go over here. This is how it will arrive. I'm just going to cut it right here from, you know what I'm going to do, because this edge, I'm one of those people, I cannot work with an uneven edge. I want everything to be really even and good when I start, so I'm just going to cut that away. Okay, so I'm going to go over and cut 12 inches. I use my cutting mat measurements for this. Just keeps it simple. I'm not pressing hard at all. It cuts just like butter. And then what I'm going to do, and is this will be my zipper pouch. And we'll box the corners here and everything. So let me move this out of the way. This is the one I had already cut out. Here's my zipper. I'm using the rainbow zipper. This is a number 5 size, and I just will cut it to the right length. So one thing I like to do is make sure that my zipper is at least 1 inch less wide than my vinyl. Ramel, I think that's picking up. Okay, so let me come up here, and I'm going to cut it like this. These look like metal, but they're nylon, so you can just cut them. And I've already got my zipper tabs cut out. So I'm going to do this whole demo without an iron. You can definitely use an iron to make your zipper tabs. No, I think we're okay. I'm going to take you over to the machine. I'm placing one end of the zipper into the zipper tab to touch the fold, and I'll sew it down. Now, I meant to bring my metal foot, and I brought it for the other Bernina that I have at home. So I'll just use my Teflon foot for everything today. I have sewn this jelly vinyl without a Teflon foot, and it was absolutely fine, just so you know. I always say if you're having any issues sewing vinyl, just review my free PDF guide. Ramel linked it in the comments, and go over those tips really quick, because tools make a huge difference. And I'm not saying you need anything expensive, but you need the tools that will help you be successful. And a Teflon foot is definitely one of those things. Okay, so my zipper tabs are on. Just going to trim them down really quick. I am basing this off my Easy Zipper Case pattern. If you don't have it, it might be worth grabbing. There's lots of good tips in there. So I'm just going to make sure that my zipper is less wide than my pouch. Now this is cutting it pretty close. I must not have trimmed it perfectly. That's not a whole lot of space on the edge there. So you know what, that's an easy fix, and I'm just going to fix it now, because otherwise I'm going to risk sewing over my zipper tabs, and I don't want to do that. That'll give me a crunched corner, and that is my pet peeve. So I'm going to trim it down another 1/4 of an inch or so. Oh, and that could be why too. My zipper tab wasn't folded exactly correctly. Let's do this again. No big deal. Just takes a sec. I am using Gutermann all-purpose thread like usual, and I've got a Microtex 8012 needle in today. Okay, let's try this now. Yeah, that gives me a little bit more space on each end. More comfortable that way. Now the jelly vinyl really doesn't have a right or wrong side, so you can't mess this part up. I am going to place my zipper right sides down and centering it so that I have a space on each side. And then I'll grab my clips. Sure. I'm going to use these Wonder Clips to hold it in place. Pins are forever in vinyl, so I don't use pins. And see, I could center that a little better. Okay, so there it is, and I'm just going to sew down this edge. Now, I'm going to do this without a zipper foot today, but I do recommend, if you have one, to just pop it on. My zipper foot looks like a single ski, like a downhill ski, and it is so much easier to sew a zipper on with a zipper foot. If you're intimidated, just get out your book manual for your machine or look it up. Google has tons of sewing machine manuals in PDF form online. And just read it real quick, it won't take you long, and put your zipper foot on. It'll be so much easier for you. If you don't have one, what I do is I move my needle so that it is as far left as it can go, and that'll get me closer to the zipper teeth. Now I'm not trying to be super duper close because I like this tape and I want it to show a little bit. That's also a reason I like using number 5 zippers, is they're just a smidge wider and a little easier for me to sew into a bag.
I had a question if the zipper tabs are fabric.
Yes, my zipper tabs are fabric. Sue made her pouch the other day with the vinyl, but I like to do them fabric because they're just a little bit easier to sew. I could have used soft vinyl, but I had some scraps laying around, so that's what I did. You could also just sew the zipper into the whole pouch and kind of curve it off the ends, but I recommend that for people who have some experience with sewing a zipper in a bag. You'll know what you want to do. Look at that, that's cool. All right. So if you can tell on this demonstration, I didn't cut 2 pieces. I do think it's easy to cut 2 pieces, or easier than working with just one, but I liked the smooth, kind of a baby's butt smooth surface down here on the bottom. So we're just folding it up. Now, because we're doing that, you want to fold your seam allowance down and press it and then top stitch it so it behaves. So I'm going to use my whacker. That helps me quite a bit. And now I'm going to top stitch it so that the zipper just sits flat. Oh, let me show you this. I just folded it down. So now the top stitching, I'm catching that seam there. I could move my needle, but I'm just going to leave it alone. You probably want to move your pole out of the way when you're doing this. I'm not pushing or pulling on this vinyl at all. I try to line up this side of the foot with the teeth so that my top stitching is really straight. And usually I would make my top stitches a little bit bigger. I just forgot because I'm on a camera right now. But it looks great. It's fine. Maybe I should turn off that light and we could zoom in a little more. Yeah, for the next top stitch we'll do that. So here's this so far. Now I'm just going to fold it up. Hopefully you see that. I'm just taking this and I'm folding it up, and I'm matching that top edge with this side of the vinyl. And I flip it around so I can make sure that I indeed have caught that top edge. Here we are, looking good. And now we're just going to sew all the way across there. And my needle is to the left. I have to hold these threads when I start on this machine. You might not have to do that. Can you see what I'm doing here, Ramel?
Yeah.
Okay. Go as slow as you need to. It's not a race. When you remove your clips, you might have to just hold it temporarily. Now here I come up to this pull. I'm going to make sure my needle is down. And I'm going to come in here. Might have to lift my foot, but my needle is down. And I'm moving that pull backwards out of my way so that I don't have a curve in my sewing my zipper to my pouch. I'm going to stop with my needle down. Remove a clip.
Do a
No, it won't. I don't think so. Okay, so here we are. I don't think it will become sticky. It's not that kind of material. But I can test it. I can leave something in the sun today. We have sunshine. Got sunshine in my pocket. Okay, so now I'm gonna fold this one. I'm gonna mash that seam allowance down. I'm gonna hit it with my whacker. They probably think I'm constructing next door. You could also use a seam roller if you want to. That feels good. Now I'm gonna top stitch it in my machine just so it's a little, just behaves better in my opinion. It'll make your zipper sit really nice. Now, oh, don't be a dingus and sew the bottom. I have to make sure that my bottom is out of the way there. Oof, that was close. I'm gonna move that pull, and I'm just gonna go slow and make sure that the seam is sitting to the left and I'm catching it on my top stitching. Sometimes you wanna, can you back out at all, Ramel? Sometimes you want to put your hand in, yeah, that's good, right there. I'm putting my hand underneath here and making sure that my seam is sitting to the left before I sew it. And I'm not sewing this to any other part of the pouch. Okay, so you can kind of see in there, it's going underneath the bridge of the machine there. Oops, sorry. I think what I'm gonna do now is lift my foot, hopefully make sure my needle is down. I'm gonna move this. I am not pulling when my hand is behind it. I'm just guiding. I want you to know. Oops, sorry. There we go. We're almost to the edge. To the end, I mean. There we go. So now I can trim my threads and pull it out. Sometimes there is a bit of manipulation that goes into bag making. I think that's probably why a lot of people give up too soon. Sometimes you do have to just really handle some layers and the way you put it into your machine. Just take a minute and breathe and figure it out. I know you will. Okay, so now I've got this thing that looks like a tube. And I'm going to close the zipper temporarily. And I'm going to turn it so that the zipper is inside. I could have done that with the zipper open. And we're just going to sew up the sides and box the corners, and we're all finished. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to take you overhead here. I'm going to close the zipper to about halfway. Now, at this point, trim your threads because they will annoy you if they're all over the place here. I'll get most of mine. And then what you want to do is make sure your zipper is at the tippy top. And what I do so that it doesn't shift on me is I put big jumbo clips in and hold it. And that way my pouch will be even. And then I'm going to come down here and do a crease and hammer it in too. Because that crease is going to be important when we box our corners. Right now, we're going to start at the bottom and sew up on each side. And you're sewing right by the zipper tab. You're not sewing over the zipper tab.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh. If the machine doesn't have a free arm, I'm thinking this would have to have a bottom seam. No, I just did it without, oh, you mean, well, yeah, that, you could totally do that, Susan, totally. That's how my pattern is written, is with the bottom. But I think, are you talking about this? Because I have this little space here.
Mm,
That must be what, I was like, I don't have a free arm machine. But she's talking about this space.
yeah.
And it's not big. This is super tiny. But yeah, just make a bottom then. Follow my easy zipper cases pattern and, okay, yeah, I get it now. I'm tracking. I'm going right by the tab, not over it. See that? Right by the tab, not over it. I did go in a little bit there, not intentionally. There we go. Now it's even. And now I'm going to flip it around and I sew from the bottom to the top, because let me tell you, if you start up here, you're going to have some issues. So don't start up here, start at the bottom and do it the same on both sides. All right, there we are. I'm going to trim threads. And box my corners. Now you can play around with your boxed corners. You can do whatever size you want to do. Anything works. It just changes the look of the pouch. So this one, I did huge 2-inch boxed corners. I'm not going to do that on this one. I think I'm going to do 1.5. But I'm going to cut all these first. All right, even though I don't have to cut the bottom ones, we're cutting them away. So here we are. Oh, yeah, let me know if I'm not centered. Now, don't use a Sharpie at home. I'm using a Sharpie so you can really see what I'm doing. I'm going to do I just said I'm going to do a different size. I'm going to do 1.5-inch boxed corners. So I'm going to draw here. I always have to do it differently on this side. 1.5 and 1.5. Draw that one. And now I'm going to cut the layers. Now, if you wanted to, I'm just going to mention this, if you wanted to bind these seams, do it now before you cut and make this a triangular shape, before it's like this. You can bind these seams if you want to. I don't bother. The edges are not sharp. In fact, they're even softer on this jelly vinyl than the 10 gauge. It will never fray. Vinyl doesn't fray, full leather, all that stuff. It's all the same. It doesn't fray. All right, so there are my corners. I've still got these clips in so that everything is even. Now I'm going to come in here. I should really trim those Sharpie marks away. Now, when I did this myself, I didn't use a Sharpie, remember. I could get it off with acetone or alcohol wipes, but I know I won't. Now I'm going to match that bottom crease with this side seam. Okay, and then I'm going to pop a clip in there. Same thing on this side end. Match this side seam with that bottom crease. Now you can open this if you want to. I don't, because I think it hurts the integrity of the seam. So I put the seam allowance to one side and fold it down. And then what we'll do is sew all the way across on both, and we're done. We just turn it right sides out and we're done. Let me know if I'm in the way, remote. Okay. Is that better? If you want to go and do a zigzag on that large seam allowance, you can do that. I usually don't. Well, I'll do it for you. Let me do it. Sorry. Can you back up a little bit? Sometimes I do that for extra strength. On a pouch like this, I probably wouldn't, but on my Santorinis, I will do that often. Now trim your threads. Let's do this to the other side. If you just did a zigzag, remember to turn it back to straight stitch. I do my straight stitch first. All right. Take time to trim your threads down really nicely. I won't here. I'm just going to get the longish ones. Unclip. Now my zipper was a little bit open. With these zippers though, even if it was all the way shut, you can just put your nail here and push it back. So all is not lost if you forget. Thanks. If you want to, you can come up here and trim down your seam allowance a bit. It'll make your corners look a little nicer. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it. If you're having trouble turning it right sides out, you can just use a blow dryer for 10-15 seconds if you want, or sit it in a sunny windowsill for a minute, let it warm up a bit. But this is super easy to turn, honestly. Maybe if it was colder out, I would have more trouble. It's what, like 65 in here, or 68? I don't know. It's comfortable. Now these zipper tabs, this is what happens until you take your thumb and come in here. See how it is? It's not behaving. We got to push it out. So I'm going to move my pull a little bit. See how that looks? We don't want that. Push it out with your thumb. It's there. It just needs some guidance. See? Now it looks so good. Same thing on this side. Look at this thing. It doesn't want to do its job. Like my teenagers don't want to do their chores, am I right? So we got to push it out. There, look at that. Little guidance, it's looking good, looking sharp, looking clean. Trim your threads and you are finished. Right? So I will hold these up. Same exact size starting, but see how this one sits a little higher, and that's because, can you see that? Yeah. That's because I didn't do such a deep boxed corner. So this sits higher. This one has more of a slant, and it's squatter and wider because that's a 2-inch boxed corner. And that's why I say always play with it. See what you like best. I've done zipper pouches with 1-inch boxed corners, and I really like the look of it. If you're ever looking to not have such a slant, you're going to cut the shape. Instead of a rectangle, it'll be more like a trapezoid. And I have that PDF in my Facebook Makers group if you want to check that out. A little trick on how to make that happen. But there you go. That is a simple jelly pouch one layer, easy peasy. You can do it, okay? You can definitely do it. I want to see all the jelly pouches coming up. All right, so let me get to my list because I have a few other things to share with you. We did that, we did that. Oh, yes. I'm going to show you. I feel nervous because now if I talk about it, like I have to do it. Okay, this is a pattern I'm working on coming up soon for an all vinyl purse. It's got a flap with a zipper pocket, and then inside it's just a really simple shape. It's got zipper pockets inside as well as slip-in pockets. But this right here is why I wanted to show you this. This is a teeny tiny boxed corner. And the reason for this, because we're going to end up doing this skinny vinyl strap together as well in this class, and it's going to be longer. But the reason I wanted to do a really skinny bag is so it can hold across your hip. It'll be a little lower, but it can bend with you. And there's no interfacing. It's just vinyl and quilting cotton, and it's pretty quick. So that's coming soon. VIPs will have a really amazing price on it. So I just wanted to share that. I've been working on that for a long time, and it's been hard prioritizing pattern time, right? With all the things we have going on. But I'm really excited about that because I'm going to walk you through how to work with that vinyl and how to make that skinny vinyl strap, which is oftentimes what you're seeing in the stores with ready-made bags. Okay? So there is that. I did want to show you, we have some more linen colors coming in very soon. I made this linen top with our black linen rayon blend. And I have an Instagram reel wearing this somewhere. I'll have to dig that out. But it has been washed 3 times and it's so soft now. It is so soft. So I took home some yardage of the navy. This is the navy. And I wanted to show you the edges because it's really not a problem at all to just cut your yardage and throw it in the machine. So let me think here. Yep, this one.
You do have a question to add?
Okay. Yep. Do you know what I need to look for to turn something right sides out that is skinny and tubular shaped? Yes. You either want a tube bodkin or a safety pin, and I'll have to find, I wonder if I have a video of that already. Have you seen my scrunchie video, Kat? Because I think I do it on there with a safety pin. I'll look and check. Anyways, can you zoom in on this, Ramel, at all? These are the edges without any treatment whatsoever. It went into my washing machine and into the dryer, and this is how it came out. So it's not terrible at all. A lot of times with linen fabric, you get crazy edges, and so people tell you to zigzag all your edges of yardage or serge it first. This didn't do that, and I think it's because it's a blend of rayon as well. So it behaves really nicely. Now, as a teaser, I'm going to be sewing up one of these patterns in my shop. Which one do you think it is? Do you think it is Trilly? Huh? Oh, I am? Thanks, Ramel. Anyways, I'm going to be sewing either the Clio, the Ruby, the Trillium, free range slacks, strata top, or our new pattern, which I don't think I have listed yet. I love this. This is what I live in summer. This is called the Savi dress. I'll get this up today. This is amazing. It's sort of like a long Ogden top if you've ever made that. So get ready. Me Made May is going to be here before you know it, and I'm going to be all up in the garments, and I hope you'll come with me because it's fun. I had a question about my Bliss yoga bag pattern the other day, and I wanted to take you overhead and show you this real quick. So this is Bliss, and this is what the yoga bag that I use the most. And here's the thing about Bliss. Yes, it has a big zipper opening for putting in your sweaty yoga mats. You can do a double slide or you can just have one pull. It doesn't matter. And then the optional end caps. I did a clear vinyl end cap on this side and I did a fabric one on this side. With Bliss, you can leave that open if you want, or you can close one and leave the top open, or whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's going to work any way you want to do it. On the other side, I only did one pocket on this version because I didn't want to cut into this fabric by Amy Butler. I loved it too much. The second pocket would have sat about here. And these pockets are big enough that you can fit almost anything in. So there goes my phone, and it's inside, and you can't even tell. They're nice and roomy. The pocket is the whole bag and about this deep. So my phone sits in there just fine, you see? And usually there are two. Now, if you don't have hardware, you don't have to do these D-rings and swivel hooks. You could just sew your strap directly in the seam, just like you can on many bag patterns. If you don't have the hardware, don't worry about it. Make it work. And yes, I did use seatbelt webbing for this strap, and it is a wide strap. We have some of this coming in soon, but you can make a cloth strap, or you can use our leather sewable leather straps.
Use the 1.5 leopard.
Yes, you can. 1.5 is fine too. The only part about 1.5 is you just want to make sure you have a 1.5-inch slide buckle here if you want your strap to be adjustable. If you don't want it to be adjustable and it's just going to be for you, you don't have to use any of that hardware. Just make a strap that's good for you, and you're good to go. Okay, I think, shall we share the winner, Ramel, from last week? Everyone worldwide is entered into the drawing, the random drawing for our weekly winner. So Bobby, congratulations. Please email me for your gift certificate. We're doing a new thing now where rather than sending something out, I just send you a gift certificate and you can get whatever in the store. All right? Hopefully that'll make it easier for our Canadian and Australian and European friends, right? Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much for being here. I have a couple of demos coming up next week, hopefully really short form videos for you, because we've had quite a few questions about some things on bags. So if you have questions and you haven't asked it here or you're embarrassed, just send us an email, all right? Because we write it all down on a list. All right, thank you so much. I will see you next week. Bye.